Oh, hey, yo. I don't know why does it look like that? That's so weird. There we go. There we go. There we go. What's up, people? How you doing? Thanks for being here. um so yeah, apologies for the time change, and yes, took a couple days off to try and get some things done, and then the universe said hardy har har with your plans because I had this crazy hand injury the other day. I couldn't even move my hand 2 days ago. Could not do anything with it, my right hand, my main hand. And couldn't really even like pick anything up with it until, halfway through today. So I made some progress on some things I was trying to do, but it really sucks because I try to take this time off to buckle down and all that kind of good stuff. So what's up, Kate? How you doing? Yeah, so I still don't have really a timeline on when I'm going to release this record because my hand was just in such pain that I couldn't really accomplish much. Made some progress, poked along a little bit. So I don't know. I'm going to have to just re-buckle this weekend, I guess. Outside chance I release the record on Sunday, maybe, or Monday, maybe. I don't know. Fridays are generally a good day to release music, but that's tomorrow, and that's just not going to happen. So, yeah, just frustrated a little bit by the turn of events. I don't know. Has this ever happened to somebody else where you get? I've had a series of injuries in the last 2 weeks that have been just kind of bizarre and like nonsensical and out of the blue. And it's just been like on Thanksgiving, I hurt my arm really badly. And it was a freak mystery, I don't know what happened. I pulled a muscle in my arm and I couldn't lift my arm for like a day or two. That went away. Then I hurt my neck Friday night after the show, after I did my online show, and then bad enough that I couldn't like sleep that night, but like that went away kind of quickly. And then I hurt my hand, like I don't know when it was, Monday or something, Sunday or Monday, and it just like unraveled, and it got so bad that I just couldn't even do anything with it. I don't know what's going on, but it's frustrating. I guess these things happen, I guess it could be worse. I don't know. Anyways, how y'all doing? Tell me about yourselves. Tell me about your day. What's going on? We got some news to cover. But I just wanted to give you the channel news, personal news. I guess I'm probably not going to do a show tomorrow. I'm probably going to do a show on Monday. So we'll do Monday at 4 p.m. on Monday. I'm going to try and stick with this time. We're doing a time change. Yay. Yeah, imminent release of a record. I just don't know the day yet, just because I got everything got pushed back by several days. I was hoping to release it like today or tomorrow, but it just didn't pan out. What else? I'm working on some other projects, other channels. I know this is going to sound weird. Well, my story channel is still in play. So I'm like reading a book aloud on this channel, and the book is Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. I don't have anything uploaded yet, but I'm uploading it the next day or two. So first installation will be live in a few days. I'll let you guys know. Also doing a meditation music channel. I know that sounds weird. Probably sounds weird. It just seemed kind of like a cool thing to do. I've seen other channels out there of people doing like really just mellowed out, kind of meandering meditation music, and it's kind of like a simple, easy thing to do, and I think it's like relaxing. So I also recorded a bit of music and video for that. Not uploaded yet. I'll let you know when it's uploaded. Okay, so all kinds of stuff. So what's happening in the world? I think I don't know. I'm doing all this stuff to kind of like take my mind off the fact that politically the world is unraveling. And it's hard to, I'm at one of those points where it's just like, oh man, we're covering the news, but we're really not doing anything about it substantially. You guys know what I mean? You like the meditation music channel? Okay. Yeah, I'll let you know when it's live. I'm putting the bits and pieces together. And I will let you know when that is going up. I'm probably going to create some companion channels for those, like Instagram and TikToks for those channels. I don't know if you care. Maybe. What's up? Yes, ASMR. Yes, exactly. Well, the story reading channel is definitely ASMR because there's no face. It's just it's going to be the cover of the book or just a black screen and just me reading. So you will just be listening, something to go to bed to. Probably the meditation music, also something to go to bed to. I don't know. I think people like that kind of stuff. It's helpful. I know a lot of people that listen, turn on things and just want to drift off while they're listening to something. So I don't know, just trying to help like ease the road a little bit, I guess. The news seems to be I don't know, spiraling in a way. Spiraling in a bad way. So let's see, what do we got? We got a maritime tanker confiscation of a Venezuelan tanker. or they're saying it's carrying oil from Venezuela. I don't know that it's a Venezuelan tanker. Rania calling this correctly piracy, which is basically what it is. Today, the FBI, Homeland Security, and United States Coast Guard, with support from the Department of War, executed a seizure warrant for a crude oil tanker used to transport sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran. We know you got the sanctioned oil. Let us on the boat. Piracy is back, especially from the big guys. For multiple years, the oil tanker has been sanctioned by the United States due to its involvement in an illicit oil shipping network supporting foreign terrorist organizations. I call immediate and emphatic bullshit on this. Because we are the one that supports all the foreign terrorist organizations. So we probably know all about, we probably let this happen with, full knowledge and even maybe our backing, and then turned around and went, ha ha, we've got you now, right? This is kind of the thing we do, kind of like Al Qaeda or ISIS or whatever. Like, we back them, we fund them, we know the whole operation is going on, and then when it's suits our needs, we can turn around and go, ha ha, we've got you. ICE arresting immigrants, right? You fund it, you support it, you let it go, you like it, you want it to happen, and when it suits your needs, you turn around and go, ha ha, I'm arresting you. This is what we do, is backstab the shit out of people all day long. This is our legacy, by the way. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is with the names, yo. YouTube and the names. YouTube is getting weird. If it wasn't already weird, it's getting weirder every day. Every day. Let's see. So yeah, they took the tanker. This seizure, completed off the coast of Venezuela, was conducted safely and securely. You mean we didn't bomb the shit out of them? I guess because there's oil on there, so black gold. It's conducted safely and securely in our investigation alongside the Department of Homeland Security to prevent the transport of sanctioned oil continues. Such that we are so full of shit. We are so full of it. We're keeping the oil, exactly. Well, remember when one of the greatest flim-flams they had going on in the Middle East was during remember the ISIS in Syria days? When ISIS came in and took over some oil fields, and we totally backed ISIS. In fact, we made ISIS. Took over the oil fields and started selling off the oil, and it was actually, we were buying that oil at a discount. Was it Serena Shim? Was that her name? Was a journalist in Turkey who had uncovered this whole scheme. We were just stealing the oil. We were just stealing the oil from Syria under the guise of, like, there's terrorists over there taking their oil. There are terrorists, but they're taking their oil. This is terrible. What are we going to do? We'll get the cheap oil, of course. So Serena Shim uncovered this and was murdered. So that's also what we do. If somebody wants to blow the whistle on something happening, we just take them out. Also, our legacy. I don't know that that's going to do us very well in the afterworld, or the, if there is a righteousness in the universe, surely it is coming for our ass. I'm providing hospice care. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, kinda, yeah. I kinda feel like covering the news is really hard, and, like, the more truthful you are, the more, thankless it gets, you know? The more over the target you get, the more under the target you get, and so, um, you know, not that I'm not gonna stop talking about the news or talking about what's going on, I just, I wanna find some different avenues maybe to, um yeah, so whatever. Um, just different avenues to let off steam. Um, and I feel like, you know, we need to stay in a different vibration. Sorry, sorry if that's uh very crunchy of me, but like what's crazy is that the world of politics and war and Israel and Gaza and what's going on, like the things that the people in charge are doing are just like the worst ever. Um, just they're just going full speed ahead on low vibrational operations, um, lying and justifying all the horrible, terrible, shitty things that they're doing. And I believe that there is a large segment of the population that is operating at a completely different level of understanding and or intention. And I'm wondering if, feeding into the level, raising people's level of understanding and intention, and which I feel like all of it is a part of, right? Talking about what's going on in a way I think that's clear and concise and informational, I think is helpful for that. But also, I think that it's okay to not focus on it. It's okay to focus on, you know, being the change. Oh my God. I sound like a lawn sign right now. But if you're watching on an alternative channel, thank you. If you're watching on Odyssey or um, Substack, you rock. If you're watching on YouTube, that's cool too. YouTube it up. So let's look at this just a little more. U.S. seizes sanctioned oil tanker off coast of Venezuela. Trump says, I don't know if we need to know any more about it. What do we need to know? Again, this story is so full of shit that I feel like I feel like I'm pretty close when I say that we're probably very aware of this tanker is probably under our control and we probably just set it up. It's like this is like a made for TV movie thing that we're going to call news. And you just have footage, right? You just have this like footage, of, oh my God, this operation, we got him. That's all. It's all the news is these days is a wag the dogs scenario. Used to escalate tensions, reasons, excuses, right, to get ourselves embroiled in something ridiculous. Caitlin Johnson talking about the fact that they're going to make draft registration automatic. So, and there has been a lot of talk around possibility of reinstating the draft. Man, that's going to be really unpopular. I feel like that's a minefield. So they're going to edge into it, right? Like they're the way they're making Medicare more expensive or kind of chipping away at your Social Security, right? Like they're not going to take it away completely because that would cause people to freak out too much. What you do is you take just little by little, you just chip away at it until all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, hey, this is, half of what it used to be. So they're not going to just reinstate the draft. They're just going to they're going to inch their way forward into making the draft easier, to just flip a switch and go like, you're drafted. Oh, what? I didn't even see that coming. But nobody told me. The white Jesus people are colonizing again. Apparently so. It's kind of what they do. It's kind of what they do. They kind of been doing it for a while, and they're like, it's like an art form. They're perfecting it every day. Hindsight smells like ass. You guys, this is like the last hour is the first time I've been able to fully almost fully squeeze my hand. My hand has got really jacked up. So jacked up. I haven't played guitar in several days because my hand is hurting. Anyways, the U.S. is making its biggest draft policy change in 45 years. So it's easier to force Americans to fight and die in a massive military conflict. Just as the New York Times editorial board launches a series explaining why the U.S. must prepare for war with China. Cool. House and Senate, I bet, somewhat unanimously, House and Senate agree to make draft registration automatic. Yo. An amendment to the Military Selective Service Act to direct the Selective Service System to try to register all potential draftees in the USA automatically has been included in the version of this year's military authorization bill, agreed to by the House Senate Conference Committee and likely to be enacted into law within the next few weeks. Yikes. This doesn't mean that a draft is being activated right away or that any of those automatically registered will be sent induction orders, although preparing to do so is the sole purpose of registration with or by the SSS. This will, however, be the largest change in selective service law since 1980. More importantly, it will move the USA closer to activation of a draft. Excuse me. Or at least to be able to claim to be ready to activate a draft on demand of Congress and the president. Let me tell you, if they try to do that, and they know that's why they're trying to be sneaky about this, because if they tried to do that, people are going to be pissed. You don't understand, or you do. The majority of people do not agree with what this administration is doing. They do not agree with the war shit. They don't want it. They don't like it. That's, Trump lied his way into office like every other president lies their stinking ass way on into the office by making promises about we're no more war. We're going to end the wars. And guess what you get? A draft and probably some more wars. Every president does this. Yeah. So people feel betrayed. They're pissed. They don't, if they try to institute a draft and try to get people to, snatch people to go fight a war. Ooh, I think there's going to be some resistance on that. Just a hunch. More importantly, we'll move the USA closer to activation of a draft, or at least being able to claim to be ready to activate a draft on demand. Closer than at any time in the half century since draft registration was suspended and draft boards were deactivated in 1975. They had to do that because that war was so unpopular that I actually stumbled across this really cool documentary about 1971 and the music that was released in 1971, but they're also talking about the political things that were going on in 71, and you know, it's pretty crazy. Like, you think things are pretty crazy now. 1971 was pretty crazy. You know, that whole era of resistance to the Vietnam War was pretty nuts. Like, that was a pretty crazy time. So you think things are crazy now. They've been crazy before. Um, it just sucks that they're as crazy again, or that they're going to have to be as crazy again. They'll probably get crazier, unfortunately. Um, sorry, did not show this. Say what? Ruda's last talk was a blood magic ritual to summon dark forces. Okay. Well, and we have that going on as well, right? We have all these like rituals, the red heifer and the, you know, building of the temple, and like you know, just all kinds of weird, crazy stuff going on. 2026 will make you wish for the good times of 2025. Yeah. It's funny because I see a lot of people going, man, I can't wait until 2025 is over, bro. I'm like, I don't know. You might want to just stay in 2025 a little bit longer. Who knows? The provision of the NDAA for automatic draft registration will take effect 1 year after the bill is signed into law. The clock will start running soon. We'll only have a year to get the Military Selective Service Act repealed if we are to avert this new threat of both stepped up preparations for a military draft and sweeping abuse of young Americans' personal information. Yeah, there's that too. Potential draftees will be required to provide personal information on demand of the SSS, a telling provision which wouldn't be needed if they could actually be identified and located automatically. Since it's impossible to tell which messages demanding information are actually from the SSS, identity thieves and other scammers will undoubtedly step up their use of fraudulent messages purporting to be from the SSS as a way to trick recipients into providing personal information. I know, dude, don't do it. Be vigilant. By the way, creative, did I see silver at 62 the other day? 63. Jesus Christ. It just keeps on going. How high can it go? All right. So there's more, and this is all. I like what Dre is doing here, showing you that the attention to the merger things with Netflix, it is political. You want to listen to DG and Bread? Yeah. Bread. Oh man. Yeah, that's memories right there. Oh, I heard a Bread song in the store a couple weeks ago, and I was like, man, I want to cover this song so badly. I can't remember which one it was though. Now I have like zero short-term memory. I mean, Guitar Man's always a jam, but they have so many. Yeah, creative. I mean, I sold my silver and I barely made a profit. Barely. Even though I bought it 42 and sold it 58. Barely made a profit. The spreads are ridiculous. Okay. So the reason why the mergers matter is because this is all about information control. And the reason why people are upset about the Paramount takeover of CBS and their intention to kind of swallow up every company is about information control, monopolizing information. So this is all political, definitely has political implications, and draws the line to the political implications of the fact that is the important election midterms are coming up next year, and they want to. That's why they're doing all the gerrymandering and why they're trying to, lock that in. They're really doing all that they can to swing. And the funny thing is how big the GOP is failing right now because of all the recent elections. They all swung pretty much to Democrats, like in a resounding way. So people are saying, get lost, take a hike, Jack. Like, F you guys. We don't like you guys. That's what people are saying. But they're still going to try to propagandize people, to brainwash people, to monopolize on whatever it is they can monopolize on now to swing these elections in their favor. Okay, let's listen to this. She's talking about the Netflix merger.
This was posted 2 hours ago by Axios. 2 hours ago. What did I say? Did I not say that this very thing was going to happen? That this was the whole point of the hostile bid? Trump says CNN should be sold as part of WBD deal, Warner Brothers Discovery deal. And let me read you exactly what he says within this article. It's imperative that CNN be sold as part of any deal. I wouldn't want to see the same company end up with CNN. CNN should be sold along with everything. End quote. Now, before we get into what the implications of what he just said are, I suggest going to read the article that I posted on my Substack on Sunday called The Day That Larry Ellison Lost and Won, What Really Happened at Warner Brothers Discovery. It's available for free. The link is in my bio, or you can go over to my profile and watch the video I made about this a few days ago, because let me tell you what, I am amped. So Netflix won the bid to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. Specifically, they're buying the studios and HBO Max, the streaming assets. Under that deal structure, the cable assets, which are like CNN, TNT, TBS, the Discovery channels, all of that were supposed to be spun off separately in April of 2026 as their own company called Discovery Global. But Trump just said in that Axios article that CNN must be part of the deal, meaning not spun off later. And then he said something that kind of contradicts that, right? He said that I wouldn't want to see the same company end up with CNN. Well, that's curious. How can CNN be both part of the deal, yet not stay with the same company that's buying the studios? So there's a couple of ways this can happen. First of all, it's important to know that Netflix, right now, the buyer of Warner Brothers Discovery, has zero infrastructure to buy cable. Absolutely none. They don't have broadcast licenses, and they've never done live programming 24/7. CNN is a linear cable network. They have live shows every night. They have bureaus around the world, cable distribution deals, satellite feeds, like completely different infrastructure, and infrastructure that Netflix does not have. Netflix simply cannot operate CNN, even if they wanted to. So if Trump is saying that CNN must be part of this deal, not spun off, not separated, but included in it, but Netflix can't run it, then what does that actually force to happen? It's called a forced divestiture, and it's actually very common in antitrust deals. So here's how that works. Netflix gets approved to buy Warner Brothers, including CNN, but that approval comes with a condition. It means that they have to sell CNN within a set time frame after they buy it. Sometimes it's 6 months after the deal, and other times it's a lot sooner. And here's what makes that extra interesting, because if CNN has to be divested, then that means they need to have a buyer lined up before that deal can get approved. So if they're still the chosen buyer for Warner Brothers, now including CNN, then they're going to have in their contract or deal structure that they already have a buyer for that divested property. Who do you think that buyer is going to be? Huh? Maybe the company that's, I don't know, in a hostile bid right now over Warner Brothers Discovery. And that, my friends, has been my thesis the entire time. That the whole point of it is to create this structure for the Ellisons to be that buyer. Remember the Delaware filing that was filed on December 1st, Pinnacle Media Ventures 4? That's Larry Ellison's acquisition holding company. That's why I looked it up, because that paperwork was going to tell me what their whole play was. What happens before April of 2026? How about the Texas primaries, March 3rd, Arkansas, North Carolina, early March? Half of the country votes before the end of spring in 2026 in the primaries. They'd be suckers if they waited until late spring to buy CNN. Remember, CNN after April is a news asset. Before April, they own the narrative. Let me just say one last thing. When I posted that article on Sunday, I had so many of the people I used to work with in Hollywood, so many of my constituents all reach out to me and say the same thing. You're overvaluing CNN. CNN doesn't have that kind of value anymore. Why would anybody want these cable assets? It's the crap sets of Warner Brothers Discovery. This isn't a big play for CNN. And I'm not saying this to be like, I'm right and you're wrong. I'm saying this because Hollywood needs to wake the F up to how political media has gotten. Like, yes, media's always been political, but like it has gotten authoritarian political. While everyone in the industry is freaking out exclusively about theaters and the streaming wars, they are completely undervaluing one of the most valuable assets in today's political economy. They're saying cable's dead because nobody on the coast watches linear TV anymore, but the United States is not the coast. I talked about this in my YouTube video that I posted yesterday. This man helped China control the media the same way. We cannot afford to screw around when it comes to these 2026 primaries, okay? Because this is how democracy changes. It's not always with coups and it's not always with tanks, but it always requires media ownership changing hands before anyone votes.
Yeah. Yep. I do remember Burl Ives. Actually, Burl Ives is one of my favorite memories of Christmas in my youth. My mom was a big Burl Ives fan. He used to play the Burl Ives Christmas record every December. We'd be listening to Burl Ives. Remember the other day when I was saying like nobody's talking about climate change anymore, and then as soon as I said that, I ran across a couple channels on Instagram that are talking about climate change, and they're actually quite, looks like they're getting quite a lot of interaction. So hush my mouth. There's a channel on Instagram called climate.apocalypse. I've been seeing a bunch of posts from them, and they're talking about overconsumption and the good subjects. There's another guy, and I wish I can't really find his channel. Excuse me. Is this the guy? In just a few days. No. I don't know if I'm going to find him. There's a guy on Instagram that does a lot of good posts about climate change. If I see him again, if I find him again, I'll give you guys a heads up. I just can't seem to see him right now. If you're interested in following somebody talking about climate change on Instagram, I don't know. Victory Jen says, I'm a Gen Xer too. Twisted my ankles years ago playing sports. Sorry to laugh. I'm not laughing, but I'm not laughing at you twisting your ankles. I'm laughing at being old. Every blue moon, those old injuries flare up big time. I limped around for 2 weeks on a swollen ankle. I hadn't injured. Yeah. Oh yeah. I twisted my ankle so badly a few years ago that I've had a few people look at it and say like, you actually broke your ankle and it just fused back in place. Because I never went to the hospital, and yeah, one of my ankles is much larger than the other, and like it gets swollen a lot. Kamashwari Kate says, Kevin, if you have time, make a meditation music piece for winter solstice. Okay, I will. I'm going to do it. I think Kate, I think you'll like the one that I have in the box. It's pretty much done. I'm just kind of need to get it to, needs a little more fluffing, as it were, before I upload it. But I'll let you guys know when it's uploaded soon, very, very soon. My goal, jeez. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm drinking tea right now, not coffee. Tea. My goal is to upload a new meditation piece once a week, and then I'll probably post it here and there throughout the week. I'll post like little pieces of it, even though it's not complicated. So it's really just like around it just goes in a circle. But so I'm hoping to post this one soon. I'll make another one next week. So I'm hoping to have like a weekly story reading drop and a weekly music meditation drop. We'll see. We'll see if it works out. It takes a lot of a lot of juggling and concentrations because as if I didn't have any more things to do on my plate. Yeah. If you guys want to support this channel, if you like this channel, if you want to see this channel continue to keep on being a channel, and you want to support, there's lots of ways to do it in the description box. You all know where the links are. There's lots of links. You can support on Substack. You can support on Patreon too. Patreon is cool. Patreon is cool. You know what other channels? I know I'm getting off the subject. What other channels I like on Instagram and basically everywhere are history channels. There's a lot of them out there, but man, I love a good history jag. I'll just like turn something on and listen to somebody tell me interesting tidbits about the past. All right. In ICE news, 2 more dead in ICE custody. Francisco Gaspar Andres and an unnamed 72-year-old Filipino man died in ICE custody within the last 24 hours. This brings the official count up to 25. It marks the deadliest year for detainees in ICE custody in 2 decades. Disabled Gender says, I want to remind people that these are just the deaths we know about, and we will likely never know how many people are being disabled. I suspect the number is far higher. Disabled people are severely neglected in ICE custody. The conditions are perfect for creating disabling events. It's torture. When they hurt detainees, they don't provide adequate medical care. Yep. Also, the DHS is spending $140 million of your money to build its own fleet of Boeing 737s for mass deportations. Congress quietly approved $170 billion immigration enforcement slush fund. Great. A brand new contractor popped up to run deportation airlines, and Boeing gets another lifeline. But sure, we're too broke for housing, school lunches, or a living wage. Man, Washington Post, I'm over you. I don't know why people even provide Washington Post links. Can you not just provide links to free places? Okay, Bella. Yeah. Yeah. Horrific, but true. Let's see. It sucks. Let's see. 140 million. See if the Times of India will give us this. Deportation airlines. And did you see that the Department of Defense budget is now at 900 billion. I don't know why they didn't just go make it a trill. Like why, um a little known company lands the DHS contract, Daedalus Aviation. The procurement was awarded Daedalus Aviation, a relatively new firm formed in 2024. Sure. Corporate documents list William Allen Walters III as president and Tandria Capel as chief financial officer. The company promotes itself offering customized commercial and charter aviation services. Walters and Capel also oversee Salis Worldwide Solutions, a separate company that previously secured a nearly $1 billion DHS contract linked to voluntary self-deportation. What? That agreement is currently being challenged in court over allegations that the contract process was rushed and improperly structured. Walters declined to comment on the new aircraft deal. ICE Air Operations already handles most U.S. immigration flights, including transfers within the country and deportations abroad. From January through October, it conducted more than 1,700 flights to 77 destinations. God dang. According to monitoring data from Human Rights First. Oh, sure. Bella, yeah. All right. Well, the news just gets uglier and uglier. Hillary Clinton has recently been rebuked as a genocide denier. The Lemkin Institute this week denounced the former Secretary of State for trivializing young Americans' opposition to Israel's U.S.-backed genocide in Gaza. Of course. They all do. Because they are bought. They are in the clutches of whoever, Epstein and the whole network. Duh. If you didn't know that every single person in Congress, pretty much, I would be willing to just say all of them are in some way corrupted, owned, and controlled by Israel, AIPAC, whatever, and whoever the top at the Israel and AIPAC are. I don't know who that are. I don't know who that is. But they all have the same talking points of social media, people are being influenced in the wrong. No, they're not being influenced. They're just seeing through the bullshit. They're understanding the hypocrisy and the idiocy of the lies that are coming from the top people. The people that want to wage perpetual war, the people that want to starve you, the people that want to keep you enslaved to, jobs that pay less and less money and houses that cost more and more money and food that costs more and more money. These people have a job to do, and that job is enslaving you for their profit. And people are understanding that and realizing that that's the opposite of propaganda. That's the opposite of brainwash. That's called seeing through the bullshit. The thing that they are doing is the propagandizing and the brainwashing. And it's not working as well as it used to. Hillary Clinton blames TikTok and totally made up videos for young people's views on Israel and Palestine. She says social media influence not just the usual suspects, but also young Jewish Americans who don't know the history and don't understand. Okay. No, I think you don't understand that their understanding the history that everybody was told was true is not they true. The Philadelphia-based Lemkin Institute for Genocide Prevention and Human Security, named for Raphael Lemkin, a lawyer and Holocaust survivor who coined the term genocide, published a statement on Monday arguing that Secretary Clinton's framing is not at all an accurate reflection of why Americans are growing more critical of Israel. Young Americans of all political stripes have not fallen prey to propaganda. I just said that, though that is always a legitimate concern, the Institute said. Rather, they have consumed 2 years of videos depicting Israel's genocide against Palestinians, not unlike people watching Vietnam on their TV sets and going, what the young Americans of blah blah. Hold on. Not at all an accurate reflection of why Americans are growing more critical of Israel. Young Americans of all political stripes have not fallen prey to propaganda, though that is always a legitimate concern. Rather, they have consumed 2 years of videos depicting Israel's genocide against Palestinians that have been uploaded by Palestinian journalists, which have been picked off one by one or two by two. Ordinary people trying to survive in Gaza, IDF soldiers, and ordinary Israelis themselves. There has been no convincing refutation of the sheer amount of raw evidence of genocide coming out of Palestine, the Institute contended. Young people in the U.S. are not stupid or gullible. They simply reject genocide, something the secretary might consider doing as well. Secretary Clinton appears not to be bothered by the reality of genocidal violence. In fact, she did not mention anything about it. Her concern is rather, in her words, the narrative. The fact that these crimes are no longer hidden are now being live streamed and documented in real time, making it harder for her and others to control it. TikTok cannot be blamed for the fact that many members of Gen Z understand that Israel is committing genocide. So, since so many other people, including those who never look at TikTok, also hold that view. Apart from the Lemkin Institute, the vast majority of large mainstream human rights organizations, the United Nations, and many scholars, as well as international legal bodies, have denounced Israel's actions in Gaza as genocide. Many carefully researched reports by international organizations have established that Israel's crimes meet the international legal threshold for genocide. We encourage the former secretary to read them. Take that, you witch. Yeah. So, all this is narrative shaping and propaganda on its own right. And they are enlisting, it's already been ongoing. They are enlisting all of these social media companies, even the ones where, YouTube for sure, to squash any dissenting voices about this, to squash information about this, to squash people talking about this. in order to further the narrative. They are committing crimes. They're committing war crimes. They're aiding and abetting war crimes. They are criminals. The people that run YouTube, the people that run these companies that are silencing your TikTok, they are war criminals. They are aiding and abetting, they're aiding propaganda in the advancement of war crimes, among other things. So they're all guilty, massive criminal operations, all of them. Yeah. This is straight out of Consortium News, which does good work. Always does good work. All right, y'all. So glad you guys could come and hang out. I will leave the information for those who missed the show or weren't aware of the time change, but apparently we are all dumb deplorables to her. Yes, Saliba. So I won't be back until Monday, guys. Sorry. Monday at 4. So we're going to do a little bit of a time shift here. And hopefully everybody can rock with that. So 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Monday. I'll be back here. All right. And we'll do it all over again. So thank you guys. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for tuning in. Go to if you guys want to stay up on current news about the record coming out, if it drops on Sunday or even earlier, go follow me on Instagram and you can find out what is happening. All right. Great. Thanks, guys. Thanks, y'all. See you on Monday at 4. Until next time, beware the bear.